got into the lead for a while. Tell us about it.
Yeah, Charles had some problems. I think a shock of his broke and he lost some time in the stage and then a bit of lateness. But he's taken it all back. So we're pushing to see what we can do.
So it's quite a tight scrap between the two of you.
Yeah, but I think he's got the upper hand. He's going.
At the front of the field, Lawrence was still defending his lead for all it was worth. He overshot a corner on this stage, though, and could only set the fourth fastest time. He was now just 7 seconds ahead of Habig. Habig negotiated this tricky section well. He could smell a win and was starting to push harder, putting Lawrence under severe pressure. He was second fastest on the stage, but more importantly, closed the gap to Lawrence to just a few seconds. Keen, sporting number 2 on his door, was still not happy with the handling of his car, but was fast enough to post the third fastest time. Wasn't enough, though, to fend off Flying Burger, who was just 7 seconds behind going into the stage. After a perfect record this season, and just as he was well placed to move into the lead, Damso's run came to an abrupt end, much to his disgust. The right-hand steering link had broken on the previous straight, and the reigning champion tried to drive the car to the end of the stage. However, with the front wheel askew, the car had pushed against the banking. Damso kept going along the banking until the Runx wedged into a gully and would go no further. It was a disappointing end to an event that constantly proves to be the multiple champions bogey rally. He was not the only one having problems, though, as Jaco Vent had blasted past the stricken 4-0 Toyota Runx of Jurgen Snell and Marty Olivier, which had gone off the road. Nel was not sure what had happened, but they eventually managed to get it back on the road and complete the rally. Habig's car was undergoing more than a bit of routine maintenance at its service stop after stage 11. The front shock absorber had developed a problem and needed to be replaced, and quickly too.
Etienne, you've been involved in a hell of a dice this morning. Dropped slightly off the lead, but right up there still.
Yeah, we've been sweeping the road as we decided or thought about this morning. The roads are very loose, so I've been sweeping the roads. It's keeping me back a bit, and I'm losing seconds per kilometer, very little. It's not too much. I've lost 11 now on 17 or 19K, so it's not too bad. But yeah, I've now fall behind. I'm in second place.
It also looks a lot rougher than it was yesterday.
It's actually, no, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. I think those stages yesterday were rougher. You've got sections which are rough, but not too bad.
And the dice is going to continue to the end by the looks of things.
Well, I'm going to have to go for it now. I can't just let it go. So, yeah, we'll try.
Cyril, the whole result of this rally is provisional, subject to an appeal that will be heard later, and it all boils down to Enzo Kuhn being given a penalty for clocking into his time control incorrectly. Explain to us what competitors have to do when they get to a time control.
Well, if you look at the boards behind us here, the yellow board is the start of the control zone. The TC is actual time control, and the other one is the end of the control zone. Now, you're not allowed to enter the control zone before your time is due. You have to enter at 40 minutes. You may enter the preceding minute. Here's somebody late, charging into it. So they're going straight in and they'll be clocked on the minute. But if you arrive here at 38 minutes and you have to be in at 40, you may enter the zone in the preceding minute and then nominate your time there. Now, apparently what happened with Enzo, as far as he was concerned, he parked next to the board, waiting for his time to come in the preceding minute, but the nose of the car was past the board. And the clerk of the course then said that they should give him that time. So that's hence the 1 minute penalty. He should have been in at 40 and he came in at 39 or something to that effect. There's somebody else late, just charging in. That means they're routing. Now there's 3 cars in the same control, and they're probably all on the same minute. They then, from here on, get staggered 2-minute intervals, so they run at a 2-minute gap. But controversial, if you waited here, it's obvious that you were not early and you were waiting for your time to come in. Clerk of the course thought otherwise, and hence the big controversy we're going to have.
Lawrence and Vermeulen ensured that they did their checking-in procedure correctly to avoid any penalties as they entered stage 15. As Lawrence had explained, he had to drive at the maximum all the way to the flag if he wished to take the victory. He'd lost the lead to Habich in stage 12 and then lost more time in stages 13 and 14 to trail by 28 seconds going into this stage. Large crowds lined the roads in a manner more reminiscent of European rallies. And it was good to see them all out there. Habich had timed his charge absolutely perfectly. Having stated his intention of positioning himself on day one for the onslaught on the second day, he had done exactly that. He'd taken time from Lawrence on every stage to this point, barring one, to hold a close on half-a-minute lead. His tally included 2 stage wins and 3 second fastest times, as he had the golf working perfectly right on the limit. Habich and Judd had not won a national rally for 18 months, through no fault of their own, and were in no mood to let this one slip through their fingers, as had happened in the previous event. King's car was handling more to his liking now, and he was closing the gap to Lawrence ahead. It was unlikely that he would have enough time to catch the Toyota, but more importantly, he also had to fend off a strong attack from Burger. They'd been trading stage times, and going into this one, they were on exactly the same time and in equal third, only 19 seconds behind Lawrence.
2021, they had a bit of a gap. Here he comes in the kin. We don't hear you cheering.
Gemmell and Godrich had settled for 5th place. Gemmell was still learning the Mitsubishi and had tried hard to stay with those ahead, but it was all to no avail. Under those circumstances, there was no point in risking the car by even trying to close the gap. Gemmell was the unluckiest man in rallying last year, leading every event but not finishing one of them in the points. He won the production car class in the opening rally of this year, the Tour Natal, but then suffered a blown engine and a big accident in the following 2 events. With 2 national wins under his belt, everyone knows that he is capable of winning rallies, but he just needs a little more luck. Watch carefully for the windscreen cracking as the Mitsubishi hits a yump near the end of the stage. Ahead of Gemmell on time, Burger was running behind on the road. He had come through from 6th overnight to 3rd and was on a charge. He won stages 11 and 13, but had lost time in stage 9 with yet another puncture. Although he was ahead in the production class, he was determined to claim a podium finish. With just 3 stages to go, quite frankly, it was anybody's race. We went back in car with Gemmell. Take note how the surface changes and how the stage changed from fast open roads to a very tight and twisty section, asking everything from man and machine. Gemmell clearly was uncomfortable after that yump, and all of a sudden he was driving with more caution and more determination to get to the finish in just one piece. JP Damso had fended off Van der Merwe for 6th, but just when he thought he was assured of the position, So van Dijk appeared on the horizon with some quick stage times. There was no let-off, and he had to keep pushing hard to defend his position. Van der Merwe was still feeling grotty due to the flu, but he persisted with the task at hand to ensure that he finished in the top 10. Van Dijk got faster and faster as the event progressed and had moved ahead of Van der Merwe for 7th place. Not content with that, he now had Damso Jr.'s 6th place right in his sights. Van Niekerk had also got stronger as the event progressed and was now running in 9th. Before the event, he had wished for a top 10 finish, and it was now fairly certain that his dream would become a reality and he would reach his goal. Peter Maritzburg's Manny Saville enjoyed his best outing and would finish in the top 10. Wilken was still going strongly and, despite his earlier scare, would run out the comfortable Class N3 winner. Lawrence made it home safely, entering the Nelspruit showgrounds to tumultuous applause. It was his best result of the year.
Etienne, second overall, your best result of the year. You must be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, the car's getting there. We are getting there. We're not too far off the pace. We started out the blocks this morning, which is a bit of a downfall because of sweeping the roads, and they were all graded, and so very loose surfaces. Battled to stay on Yanni's pace. He was awesome this afternoon. 4 stages to go. He passed me and was 4 seconds ahead, and yeah, I don't know how far he beat us by at the end of the day. Tire choice problem. Didn't go on wets. I was scared of the rocks. Cost me time. So second last when I put wets on, it helped. So yeah.
All part of the learning curve.
Yeah, it's a question of wanting to take the risk and falling out of the bus completely or making some time. And that's the decision you've got to make. Sometimes it's a difficult one to do.
You had some problems yesterday. You had to rebuild your rear suspension. No such problems today?
No such problems. The rear suspension got hit by a rock. Just that's how the size of the rocks they were in the road. And yeah, so it's one of those things, a precautionary change. I didn't want to take a chance because if it cracked further, then we would have had a problem because there was no service today, no time today whatsoever.
Oh, well done and a good drive.
Thank you.
Habech finished in style for the fans, clipping a drum for good measure. And that gave him his first win of the year by 37 seconds. Confirming the results, and Volkswagen withdrew its appeal against the Keen penalty, leaving his teammate as the victor. Burger won the production car category, while Van Dijk finishing just 4 seconds behind Damso Jr. after a day-long chase. And there was 5 class wins for Toyota.